After watching through a couple of Denis Villeneuve's most known movies lately, such as Prisoners, Blade Runner 2049, Arrival, and I have already seen the two Dune movies, I can safely say that the world would be a much better place if he was to retire from making movies. Because the general problem with Denis is that he fails to entertain with his movies. Recently, he said that he never remembers a movie for a good movie line, but only for the visual effects. That is also exactly what his movies are like, and I can only point out maybe one or two scenes from Hugh Jackman in the movie Prisoners where you see good acting in one of his movies. Because what you really recognize in all of them is a huge focus on the visual ensemble and very little in entertainment, good acting, and intensity. Basically, he slow burns all his movies or drags them down on a board road to hell. And that's what we will talk about today. In the movie Prisoners, where you see Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal acting together, it is all about the emotions between the characters. It is all about the tension mood that you never feel because you never focus on making entertaining scenes. Yeah, okay, sure, there are some violent scenes between Hugh Jackman and the prisoner he has in his basement, and some cool scenes where he acts angry when they fail to search for his daughter. But the point is that you never really see how the kids were abducted in the first place, and the characters that did it are not revealed until very, very late in the movie. And there's no grand epic reveal that really shocks you. The Helen character is just so badly written, and the movie bores you extremely much towards the end with dragged investigations and the emotion between the characters. Sure, it tries to create this mood filled with tension, but you are very robbed of entertainment in this very dragged movie. That is mid at best. Here the focus is also mostly on the visual side and not so much on the actual plot. In the movie called Arrival, where it is all about this group of aliens coming to Earth called heptapods, you run into another movie that is very on the slow side, filling in a lot of flashbacks with not very good acting, and where you once again focus on the visual elements, trying to make this world and the aliens as grand as possible without really making it entertaining or filled with tension. Where you basically use 75% of the movie to understand what these aliens want and why they came to Earth. Which is basically a story you could tell with 30 minutes less, because really it never feels epic when you use so much time to show how you can understand these aliens. There's also a lot of complexity when you show all these flashbacks about the main character's child. That child is the one that will work with heptapods in the future. It is once again a sinister doom and gloom movie that focuses much more on emotion rather than creating good acting. Some say it is excellent world building, great visuals, and probably a different movie than the generic alien movie. And in some ways it is, but this is one of those classic sci-fi movies, like for instance Equilibrium and Spiderhead, that just has a cool concept, but not the tight execution to make it entertaining, because neither Amy Adams, Forrest Whitaker, or Jeremy Renner do noticeable good acts in this movie, which most of the time bores you right down to the teeth. With the structure, Villeneuve has chosen where he once again tries to fool you with great visuals and not topping on other elements. It is very hard to stay invested for the almost 2-hour running time of this movie. And next one, where Denis Villeneuve really failed to make a good movie, is probably the most overrated movie in cinema history, called Blade Runner 2049. Still, for some reason, has a very high approval rating by a lot of people, which is insanely non-deserving, as it is one of the slowest movies on the planet. Literally, in the first 2 hours, there's almost no story or things happening other than a fight with Bautista. But yet again, Denis Villeneuve fools people with stunning visuals and makes us sit through a very long movie where there's very little to entertain you in the story from the actors. Seeing Ryan Gosling's face without him saying a word is probably extremely entertaining for a lot of people. Hearing a long monologue from a tired Harrison Ford that should have retired 20 years ago is probably entertaining for a lot of people. And seeing Jared Leto in his long evil monologue about replicants may be entertaining for a lot of people, even though he may be the most overrated actor of our time, with only one good performance to date in the movie called The Outsider. There's no real purpose in this movie other than to maybe build a Blade Runner character and really find out his background, because the mission he has been assigned to is almost non-existent in this movie. I mean, what is the point with even having Harrison Ford in the movie when he uses 2 hours to find him, in the meantime cozying up with his AI woman and going through some talk with a woman in a glass chamber, rather than going on a hunt to actually find out where Deckard is. But very few really want to see 2 hours of world building with great visuals when there's not actually anything happening in the story. That's why this movie also has garnered criticism for that by a lot of people who saw the original movie and was taken aback by that movie but hated this one, and are loved by a lot of people who have seen this one but have never touched the original movie. On that particular subject, I can't really say anything as I have never seen the original. But what I can say is that this is one of the worst movies I have ever seen, and also one of the most overrated pieces ever to be made. How anyone can give this an 8 out of 10 or even a 5 out of 10 is beyond me. Because again, yes, it may be visually appealing, but it is surely not entertaining. If we go on to the latest two that Villeneuve has made, the famous Dune movies, you go into movies where he once again has done them, yes, visually appealing, and once again fooled a lot of people in that respect, where he quite clearly slow burned the first movie to try to build it up to a great war, and then having the last hour to be a bit more entertaining, and then in the second movie, which doubles up even more on the visual part, but are dragged in the way you remember from Prisoners, and quite clearly, again, there's no good acting to entertain you, no real tension other than the mood he tries to create. People may say that the music from Hans Zimmer may make you feel the entertainment, but that's not enough when you can't make entertaining scenes. Lately, I saw the Dune from 1984, and the casting there, from top to bottom, was much better. The pacing is better, where there's a lot more entertainment, and the important characters such as the Emperor or Rabban are a lot more involved in the story. You may remember from Dune Part 2, Christopher Walken was just there so he could go on a holiday to another city. He is not there to actually be used in the movie, and it really shows as he almost is not involved in the story at all. In the 84 version, the visuals are the only bad thing, but there are a lot more intense fights, more intensity between the characters, and the character, for example, Sonny, is portrayed to be way more realistic. Essentially, you may say that Dune 1984 is two movies made into one, as it shows events from both movies, but at the same time the pacing could be a lot better from Villeneuve, instead once again trying to fish in people with the visuals. That's why I feel a director such as Christopher Nolan that recently got his first Oscar is way better than guys such as Villeneuve. People who like Denis may not like Nolan because they are more accustomed to slow pacing, but I am 100% certain that he could have made the two Dune movies more intense. Same with Blade Runner 2049 or Arrival if he was at the helm. Just like he worked his magic in Oppenheimer, the three Batman movies, or in Tenet, which didn't quite hit the mark, but it is way more entertaining than a movie such as Arrival. That's also way better acting in a Nolan movie, and that's one of the reasons I feel Denis Villeneuve actually should retire and let Nolan direct the last Dune movie called Dune Messiah. Then I think we will get a much better movie rather than the mid movie we will be getting now.